Hi, this is Dr. Randy Hurst. I'm a psychologist, retired, and doing these basic education videos to understand mental health issues and especially the change process and how to change. Hoping that some people will be able to use this to help make changes in their lives. And others, it may help understand that, oh, I'm not following through, or, oh, my problems are way bigger than this, I need help. But I also, as you've heard in some others maybe, hope that this will speed up the process if you do end up seeing a professional. We're just having some basic background. As you may have heard in some of the other videos, anything that you take out of this, please know that it's your responsibility how you use it. And if things get out of hand, too stressful, too much, get help. I'm not in a position to be able to answer specific kinds of things. It's just general education. Okay, this one is on denial. Particularly the question of, is what you're seeing denial when you see somebody just not accept that they have a problem? And this partly comes from, I worked in the alcohol and drug field directly, full-time, for about close to 20 years. And then I've continued working, or had continued working, with recovery and substance abuse, addiction issues, both behavioral addictions and chemical, for many years, 20 years almost, after that. So I'm going back, though, to some of my experience, but particularly going back to a researcher who came to see me in the mid-'80s. And he was working with a group on a new model called the trans-theoretical model of change. And what I remember is this was a stage model that had 5 stages, the change process, and they started focusing on cigarette smoking. But it also is used a lot with drinking or other kinds of problems. And the stages were, as I recall, are, preconception, they call it, conception, preparation, operation, was it? Doing, and then maintenance. So they focused their description of the first stage as denial, or at least partly that. And that's where I struggled. I said, well, wait a minute, denial infers that the person recognizes what their problem is, and they're pushing it out of their existence. They're not letting themselves see it, or they're minimizing it and trying to avoid the full impact. And I said, well, what if they really have no clue? What if let's use drinking as the example, because that's what I was working in at the time. What if they drink with people that are just like them? And they just don't see there's a problem. In fact, they might even say, I drink less than half the people that I drink with. I don't have the kinds of problems that all kind of people have. So they just don't have any picture. How can you call that denial? And some people will say, well, that is what denial is. And I call it preconception. It's before denial. It's no picture of, and no concept that this is a problem. It makes it really hard if you just absolutely have no picture to entertain what others might say to you if they're concerned. The drinker, in this case, just think, well, you're the one with a problem. I don't have a problem. You're the one that's crazy. You're the one that needs help. I don't need help because I don't have a problem. So how can that even be? Well, there's a fancy term. I've tried to mostly avoid fancy terms in what I talk about, but it's called cognitive dissonance. And this is what's been described for when somebody has something that is in conflict with their concept of themselves. Just an automatic kind of brain process is that we reduce the uncomfortable feeling of this conflict between what we think of ourselves in what this says. And it's easy to exclude it. That isn't me. To blame it on something else. Blame it on the people you were around, the situation, being upset. But I don't have that problem. It's just because of these other things that I reacted the way I did. That's a way of keeping one's self-concept and not dealing with something that varies from it. And so it becomes very important for the drinker, in a sense, to at some point kind of explore, well, why are these people bringing this to me? Why are they concerned? Is there a good reason to begin to have the idea? Now that's where minimizing or denial can kick in, because it's starting to work on them. That's why it's so important, depending on who's watching this right now, if you're the person who has a problem, or others say they have a problem, is to really think about, if your child did what you do, would you be concerned for them? And that's an odd way of saying it, but honestly, it's helped many people go, oh yeah, if my kid did this, I'd be all over him. I'd be upset. I'd be concerned. Maybe people are bringing up concerns in a way that I don't like, but maybe there is something wrong. That's the beginning of the conception of a problem. There's still other stages, because you have to really start putting into play this beginning idea of maybe there is an issue. But that feedback from others is hugely important. If this is a family member, a loved one of somebody that has you think they have a problem, be real specific in what they do and what they say that hurts or makes you concerned, makes you afraid for them or for the relationship. Avoid a label like, you're an alcoholic, you're a drug addict. Those carry a big picture in the person's head that sets up for that cognitive dissonance to push it away, to exclude it, to not believe you, to just absolutely not be willing to consider any of the idea, or if they hear it, they still deny it or minimize it, have some reason for it. But be as specific as you can. And know that it's a process. Know that it probably won't get through initially. But if there is a problem, then issues will come up again. You'll be concerned again, fearful again, hurt again, and bring it up again. Hopefully the person can get that it's that you care, that you're hurting, or they've done something that hurts you. If that starts to talk to them, that's where the beginning of maybe there's a problem, or the realization that there really is a problem can happen. Understand that if they react badly, they can react in ways that feel like emotional blackmail, that can just hurt you. Understand that is a gut emotion reaction that's self-protective. Be able to respond to it. Not just blow back at them, but be able to let them know that you really do care. But that they need to do something. You're not going to go fix it. You're not going to make up for it. You're not going to minimize it yourself, so that they really do feel it. Now, going back again, if you're the person that might have a problem, hopefully you have somebody who cares, and they're saying what they said because they hurt or they're afraid. And again, go back to, what if it was your kid? This is a way of stopping and thinking. Cognitive dissonance can be broken down into real thinking about something that doesn't feel comfortable. That's what really helps get people to consider am I happy with who I am or what I've done? Is there something I need to do differently? I've seen it be very good for all kinds of people when they think themselves about this in the way that they would be concerned for another person. When it's about themselves, it's really weird how they don't think of it the same way. But when they think about it for somebody else, they get it. And for family members, I encourage people, write it. Because if the person reacts, you've still got the writing. They may read it again. Is it denial? Yeah. In some ways, it fits the generic version of denial. But really help yourself understand that it could be this preconception before they have any concept. And how important it is to give information that allows them to get a conception that at least it's a problem for ones that care about the person. I focused on alcohol, any other drugs, any of the reward or fear. You know, the way that fear can take over somebody's life, the way that anxiety can take over somebody's life, giving feedback about specific ways that has caused problems. And that's a real scary one, because people who have anxiety issues tend to pull back and avoid the anxiety. And if you give feedback, you're adding anxiety. So that one's, in an odd way, that's almost a little bit harder. So, but getting that conception going is what sets the stage for actually being able to act on making changes. Okay, I think that's where I wanted to go for this one. Look at others that speak to you, and hopefully they'll help.